Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I thought I would do a video of a kind of like a weekend day in my life when I am writing or editing, as this is, my novel. So I'm using my microphone today. I don't always use my microphone like this, but it is a weekend day. Tom, my husband, is in the house as well. In fact, he's literally beyond that wall playing Xbox at the moment, as is his right as a Monday to Friday worker, to have a relaxed weekend. So while he is enjoying himself, I decided that I would come and do some novel editing. If you watched my last video, which was my novel update to see where I am, if you haven't watched that and this is like the first video of mine that you're finding and you want a little bit of background on my novel, then I highly recommend you watch that video first and then come to this one because it'll make a bit more sense. So today I thought that I would spend a bit of time. I'm probably going to do like, what time is it now? It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, or 20 past 2. So I think I'll probably do like maybe 3 hours, 2.5, 3 hours, something like that, and just try and get a little bit organised in terms of the edits that I need to make. So I'm going to review, I'm going to like kind of flick through my printed out version of my novel, and I'm going to have a look at what I need to do, kind of make a bit of a game plan, I think. The other thing I could do is just literally go back to the beginning on the Word document and start editing, but I think I want to address some of the kind of like bigger issues and make a plan so that the things that I thought of when I was reading through the book I don't forget about. So I'm going to do that, and I thought I'd bring you along. So I'm not going to talk too much, I don't think. I think it's more just going to be footage of me actually working, and then I will check in and let you know how I've got on. But yeah, if this is the first video of mine that you are finding, my name is Charlotte. I'm a writer. I'm a published writer of 2 non-fiction books about women's history, and I'm currently editing my very first fiction novel. I have got previous videos about my writing and kind of how I've got up to where I am now, and my story as to where I am now. But as of today, I've written and printed out the very first draft of my first fiction novel, and I'm currently editing that now. I've got a plan to hopefully get it to some agents in the summer, but we'll see how that goes. It's all part of a process, and yeah, this is a typical day in my life. I have a full-time job as a marketing consultant. I'm a freelance marketing executive, and yeah, that's my kind of full-time job. So I do my YouTube channel, and I do writing around that, so evenings and weekends and stuff. So this is kind of like a typical day in my life when I am fitting in some work, and I'm guessing this is probably going to be the reality for quite a lot of aspiring writers and aspiring novelists, is that you are doing it around a full-time job. So hopefully this resonates with people. Right, I shall get into it. Right, I have been working on the project for about an hour, something like that. I have been kind of having a look through some of my notes. I've got the manuscript in front of me, so I've been looking at things that I wrote on the manuscript pages as well. So I hope the background noise isn't too loud. I think it should be okay because I'm talking pretty loud. I have been been watching some ambient worlds in the background, and I've also been looking through both my Scrivener and my Notion for bits that I've written down, things that I've written down about the novel, etc. And then I found, I had to find the file. I was like, where is the manuscript file? I couldn't find it, but then I did. I'd saved it on my external hard drive. So I found it, opened it up, made a couple of tiny changes to kind of the initial layout of the first few pages. And then I actually rewrote the prologue, like not all of it, I haven't changed it massively, but I realised that the prologue was in one person's perspective and I wanted to change it to somebody else's. So I rewrote that, and that felt really nice actually to edit the prologue. But then I'm kind of feeling a little bit unsure of where to go next or kind of what to do next, because on the one hand I'm like, do I literally just sit down and open the manuscript up and just start like reading through it again and writing as I go? The problem with that is I run the risk then of over editing the beginning of the novel and not heavily editing the end. And there are a few, there's probably like a handful of big things that I know I need to change, like, I don't know, too much detail to go into on a YouTube video, but there's a lot of details that I need to change. So I'm like, do I go in and try and change those first and then worry about the smaller things? I think that's probably the best thing to do. But yes, I'm going to be totally honest. I'm feeling a little bit overwhelmed with how much work there is to do, and the fact that I've only really got this month before I need to hand it off, and it is the 12th of April. So I've probably only got 2 weeks to do these edits. I don't think I'm going to be on schedule for that, but it's fine. It's okay. These things happen. I may have to push my beta reading on by a month. So rather than giving my book to beta readers in May, I think I might have to give it to them in June. But we'll see. This is the problem. I'm getting in my head about the project. I need to just actually get on with it and just do some of the work. So yes. I don't want to show you them actually. I was just going to discuss what platforms I use, but actually I don't want to show you them because there's things about the novel that on the programs. But in terms of like things that I use or tools that I'm using to write this book and to kind of plan things out and to think about elements. So one of the big things that's come up in the edit is the fact that I haven't really described the place and the setting enough. So I haven't really said what time of year it is, what the weather's like, any of the kind of sense information, so the sight, the smell, the sound. I've not really added that in yet, and I think it's just because I've been getting like the bare bones of the story down, but that's information that I now need to start kind of injecting into the story. So in order to be consistent and to remember that, I've been writing it all down in my Notion. So then it made me think about the different tools that I'm using to kind of write the book. So there's two major three, I suppose, three big programs that I'm using. The first is Scrivener, and I did pay for the paid version of Scrivener in the end after using the free trial because it is really, really good. And what I did with Scrivener is actually wrote the bulk of the novel in there first, and what it meant was that it's really easy to move sections around. So as I was changing kind of like the kind of layout of the book and where I wanted certain chapters to be, I could literally just drag and drop them to different areas. So much easier than on a Word document where you're copying and pasting, stuff like that. So I really liked Scrivener for that. And then Notion, I'm using more as kind of like an information dumping ground, like a planning tool. So I have different pages about like key scenes or scene layout or chapter layout. And on there, I've just started a settings page or setting page, which is like, okay, what time of year is it? What's the weather like? Exactly what dates is she there? Like rough dates. I'm setting it in like mid to late September. So thinking about what the weather's going to be like. Have the clocks changed yet? Which they haven't in the book. And, you know, what will nature be like? You know, what kind of animals will be around? What will, you know, will trees be dropping their leaves yet? And just all that kind of information, like how prone is the coastline to storms in September? So I'm kind of thinking about all of that kind of information so that I can write it in. And the reason why I'm putting it in my Notion is so that I don't forget. Or if it gets to a point where I'm writing it, I'm like, what when was it again? What time of year? I can go back and have a look. So I'm doing little things like that at the moment. So not too much actual physical writing, but I think that because this is the first time that I'm actually properly sitting down with the project again after reading it through, because I did the physical read through. Sorry, you won't have seen this if you haven't watched my previous video, but this is my novel. That came out very Yorkshire. That I printed it out basically. When I'd finished writing it, I printed out my first draft so that I could physically take it away from the computer and read it on paper and make notes. I just personally find that a really easy way to edit. So I did that. So I've kind of been going through that and having a look. It's the first time that I'm properly sitting down again at my computer with this project to continue the writing. So yeah, it's good. It's good. I'm not feeling maybe as... like I don't feel like I've achieved as much really today. I am going to do another, it's 3:30, I'll probably do another like hour and a half. And yeah, I don't really feel like I've achieved as much as I hoped I would sitting down, but at the same time, sometimes it's just literally getting sat down at the computer and actually doing some work on it, no matter what that looks like. So yeah, committing to putting the time aside to work on it. So yes. Going to go and have a look at the washing on my line, because I think my washing might need bringing in all the practical stuff that you have to do around a weekend. So I might do that and go and have a look at my washing, and then I will. Sorry, motorbikes in my local area. You can tell it's sunshine when the motorbikes come out. Yeah, and then I'll come back to it and keep going. Okay, so I promised I did go downstairs. You can probably tell my hair's a little bit more windswept now. I did go downstairs and I did some washing. I just didn't film it because it's just not interesting for you guys, but I went downstairs, put some washing out on the line. I look a little bit... I haven't put any pressed powder on today, so I look a little bit greasy-faced. And yeah, did some washing, just pottered, as you have to do on a weekend when you're, you know, kind of doing things like this, doing creative stuff and trying to just do all your general home stuff as well. It is a bit of a balancing act sometimes, and I find, for me personally, I find evenings and night times a really good time to kind of write and be creative. But I obviously don't want to be at my desk every evening and every night when I've sat at my desk all during the day. And Tom and I tend to go to like the gym on an evening, and then I want to spend time with him, funnily enough. So weekends are good. Weekends are a good time to kind of catch a few hours, but obviously I've got other things to do. I've got housework and I've got other people to see and time to spend with Tom and stuff. So yeah, I'm back at my desk now. So it's now, what time is it? Computer's gone into sleep mode. It is 4:20. I was going to do from 3:30 until 5, but obviously now I've spent like the best part of an hour downstairs. So I'm going to do 4:30, maybe till 6. I'll definitely do an hour and then see how I'm doing after an hour. So yeah, I think what I'm going to do, I've had some time while I was pegging up my laundry to think, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to continue on with the first chapter and just continue writing from there. I don't know if that's a bad thing to do. I don't know if I shouldn't do that. I have asked, so the course that I did a creative writing course from September until December last year. And at the end of the course, we set up a WhatsApp group for all the writers that were in that. And I put a message into that WhatsApp group earlier today and just said, look, this is how I'm feeling. Don't really know what I'm doing. And I'm waiting on some responses from people. Obviously, it's the weekend. I expect that people are going to be busy. So in the meantime, whilst I wait for like some help and friendly advice, I'm going to just continue on because I'm feeling quite inspired to start from the beginning and write rather than trying to like solve big problems. So as I come along big things, or if I come along something that I want to change, then I will do that then. And that's what I'm going to do for now. I'm just going to start from the beginning. It's a very good place to start. God, I'm not going to turn this into a singing channel, don't worry. Yeah, and we'll go from there. crazy hair. Oh, there we go. Right, I think I'm going to finish for the day. It is 10 to 6. And I've gone through, I've kind of flipped through, you'll have seen this on the time lapse, but I've kind of flipped through the first kind of 120 pages and kind of looked at what I was writing, looked at my notes that I made. And I've kind of also been referring to my Notion. I've been trying to kind of look at things like dates and settings and like larger consistencies like that. So not like little bits and pieces, like if there's just like literally a name needs to change or a date needs to change, something like that. I've not really been looking for the nitty gritty like that. But there's a scene pretty early on and some things were wrong in it. Basically, I'd changed my mind in how some of the book kind of panned out from when I'd written that initial scene, so I needed to change some of the things in that scene to make it consistent with later events in the book. So I was doing a couple of bits like that. So again, I don't really feel like I've actually written a lot, but I mean, this is editing, this is the editing stage, so I'm guessing by now, you know, you don't really, you know, there's not huge amounts of writing to be done, and where there is writing, there will be like, you know, I might spend an hour rewriting a scene. Sorry, motorbikes again. I might spend an hour rewriting a scene, or I should imagine that when I get into the actual, they call it line edits. I didn't know this until somebody just said it in a group chat. Somebody did get back to me, by the way, from the writing group that I have on WhatsApp, and said, you know, I think it's a good idea to do like the overall big things first before going into the line edit. And I was like, ooh, the line edit, that sounds very posh. So when I get into the line edit, I'll be able to do things like expand sections, and I've written that in the margins at some points. I've been like, you need to expand here, you need to add more detail, you need to create a bigger scene here or whatever. So I'll do that at that point. But yeah, I've just been looking at some big things and consistencies, and at what point like I want certain information to be revealed, etc. So I guess really at this point, the edit gets a bit difficult because I can't really tell you, I don't want to tell you too much about the actual story. Can you see me properly? Am I on camera enough? Yeah, I don't really want to tell you too much about the book at this stage now, because it's getting to the point where if I start giving out too much information, people might not want to read it at some point in the future. So I'm not really going to say too much about the actual storyline, but it's also hard to then tell you what I've been doing other than just being like, I'm editing, you know. So yeah, I've definitely been working on some of the kind of bigger plot points and making sure that the plot points are consistent across the book. And writing things down into Notion, making notes about characters, their dates, because I have 3 different timelines across this novel, making sure that the dates line up and that everything is realistic in terms of timescales and stuff. So yeah, I've been doing that. And now it is, like I say, it's 10 to 6. I am ready to step away from my computer again for the rest of the evening. So I'm going to go and see Tom, have some dinner. And that's it. I don't think I'll be back online later because I think we're just going to have a casual evening. I'm sorry if it's been a really short video. It's kind of hard to show too much of the editing process, and I'm aware that I think some of it might be quite boring. You just kind of sitting and watching me type at a computer. Let me know, please do. I say this in a lot of my videos, but please do comment below and let me know what style of like editing content you'd like to see. Like if I'm talking about my book, what do you want? Do you want to see time lapses of me just at my computer writing? Do you want me to only film the edits when I'm like doing something interesting, or if I leave the house to edit or something like that? Or do you want just like regular updates where I just kind of tell you what I've been doing like I did in my previous novel update video? Please do let me know, because at the end of the day I'm creating this content for you guys and I want you to really enjoy it. So if you can tell me kind of the thing that you want me to kind of talk about, or the type of content that you enjoy watching, then I can make sure that I'm creating content that you're all enjoying and watching. So right, okay, please subscribe if you haven't already subscribed to my channel. I have a Patreon account. My patrons, my lovely patrons, are scrolling the screen right now. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. If you want to become a patron, then you can have a look online. I do exclusive content on there, especially for patrons. The link is down in the description box. And I will be back again next week, hopefully, all being well, with another video. So thanks again, and yeah, all the best, guys. Have a lovely week, and I'll see you soon.